Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Masoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Haute Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journey, encourage folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Hello and welcome to the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of food entrepreneurs. We're glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Haute Sauce.
And Sarah Masoni of Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, I wanted to tell you in front of everyone, all of our listeners and friends, what a great job you did organizing the event this week with the slow food folks. Do you want to tell people about it?
Yeah. So I had the opportunity to go to a couple slow food events last fall. One was in Sacramento for the Terra Madre, and then I was invited to Slow Food Teton end of season farm to table event. And I started thinking about how we here in Oregon needed to be a little bit more involved in the movement from a manufacturer standpoint, and those are all the people that I know. So I put together a big cohort of people. I think we had about 58 or 60 people come to the Food Innovation Center. We served breakfast and lunch from the Siletz Valley High School Tribal Culinary Program, which was excellent. And then we had 28 people give 5-minute speeches for about 2 hours. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was describing it to my daughter that it was like, I was like, do you know what speed dating is? She was like, yeah, you were speed dating. And I was like, no, but but everybody just gave a little quick 5-minute presentation about themselves and what they do. It was very fun.
Yeah, and it just created a new community basically, because there were a lot of people, we all work in the same field, but we don't always have time to visit and connect. Mm-hmm. We're trying to create something new. So
yeah, I thought it was really great. It was very well organized. The food was amazing. And if people are interested in getting involved or connecting or that couldn't make it, how do we make that happen?
Well, just go to slowfoodusa.org and become a member. It's $60. You can become a member. And then I'm thinking you can select Oregon if you're in Oregon or whatever state you're in. There's slow food folks all across the U.S. and it's a movement. And then you'll get connected in a newsletter and start to hear what's going on.
Join the movement, folks. It was really great people. It's really fun. They all have good shared values. It was a really great day. I had a great time. Thanks for organizing it, Sarah. And I'll put the links in our show notes so people can join us.
Thank you, Sarah.
Of course. Well, I want to introduce our guest today. I would like to introduce you to Faith Dionne. She is the founder and CEO of Dappled Tonic Water, making award-winning tonic water in Portland, Oregon. We're delighted to have you on the show today. Faith, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. So nice to be here.
We like to connect our listeners to you and give them the best way to follow your story. How can they find you on social media and online?
We are most active on Instagram. So you can find us at Dappled Tonic. That's DAPPLEDTONIC.
Perfect. Well, we always like to start at the beginning of your business story. So when did you start Dappled Tonic and what inspired you to start your biz?
Well, that is such a good question. I came to Dappled Tonic as a craft distiller. So for 9 years, I had Jazz Spirits, where I was making wild botanical spirits. But as I was serving the actual gin, I would pick out like perfect ice in perfect glassware, and I would grow my own garnishes, but the tonic water that I had was all just global commodity brands. So there was this disconnect between craft and commodity that I couldn't believe hadn't been solved for. And, I asked around, and sure enough, there are no craft tonic waters in the Pacific Northwest. And so I decided to start working on it. I said the idea out loud in October of 2023, and we were on shelves in April of 2024.
Wow, that's fast.
I agree. It was fast.
And for our longtime listeners, Faith has been on the show before. Episode 51 back in 2020, she was talking about her business, Jazz Spirits, with us. So you can listen to that show if you would like. And you are the Pacific Northwest's first ever tonic water that's organ distilled, which is, you had this idea, you hadn't seen the product before, and you're the very first one. So congratulations. Good job
Thank
making
you.
it happen.
Well, I understand why now there are no other craft tonic waters.
What
There's
are
a lot of challenges in tonic water that you don't really think of as a consumer.
Do you want to tell us some of those challenges?
Yes, I am ready to talk about them. The most obvious challenge, the first challenge we faced was getting real pure quinine. Some people know that quinine comes from the cinchona tree, from the bark, and it can be steeped and extracted, and you will get quinine, but you don't know how much is in there. And quinine is a FDA regulated substance. So in a product like canned tonic water, you need to know exactly how much is being dosed to the consumer, so it's at a safe level. We took months probably to find a source, to get samples. We signed all kinds of paperwork, more paperwork than I ever had to sign as a distiller, just to get the quinine. And then it took 4 months for us to get it. So it's extremely difficult to acquire. And the company that we get our tonic water from has one other client, and it's Keurig Dr. Pepper, who owns Schweppes.
Huh.
So it's kind of a joke within our company that, craft tonic water is kept down by Big Tonic.
probably
Because they
true.
just buy it by the barrel. They are the ones that buy barrels and barrels of quinine. And here we are with our little drum. It takes us 4 months to get.
Even just as a small, like the general public to buy it, it's hard for them to buy it and source it, because I know this from working on my cookbook and writing a recipe. I was trying to tell people how to make their own tonic, using part of my first cookbook was about teaching people how to use everything. So I was telling people how to use stones from their cherries to make their own tonic. And I was trying to tell people how to get it. And I couldn't even tell people where to buy it to make just a batch of their own tonic water. So the only place I could find was this witchy store that sold people supplies to make their own potions. And I was like, here you go to this witch store and you're going to be able to make your own tonic, because that was the only place that I could find to get it. And then I had to have a warning in my cookbook, use this at your own risk.
Did you put it in there? Did you end up putting it?
I did. Yeah, the recipe's in there. I don't know if anybody's ever actually made it. You never know if people make your recipes or not, but
yeah,
who knows? Go buy Face, though. It's way easier and better.
It's easier to buy it from Dappled.
Yeah, buy it
I just
from
buy it from Dappled. And I will clarify my statement. There are tonic syrups that are made in the Pacific Northwest. They did also see that tonic water had space for improvement. But for me, as a distiller, what I needed was something that was ready to use. So I could just have a chilled can, pop it open, and serve it with my gin. So something that was more transportable. And the other thing was we wanted to make sure that the bubbles were preserved. So when you're talking about mixing a syrup with carbonation, you do lose some of the bubbles. And for me, for my personal palate, I like good carbonation. I think it's a big part of a gin and tonic. So that was why we took that path.
Have you ever had a gin and tonic in England? They're just flat.
I have not.
I love
Why do
gin
you
and
think they
tonics.
do that?
I do not know.
They stir it too much?
I have no idea. You have to go to London now and try one. Bring your tonic water there when you go.
I see. I will say I did have several gin and tonics when I was in Spain, and I really think that they set the bar for me in that they use large globe glasses,
Mm,
big ice cubes for slower dilution, and they were really gentle how they poured the tonic. So down a
mm,
spoon to really
mm,
preserve the bubbles.
mm.
The garnish was chosen specifically to pair with not only the gin, but also the tonic water.
Nice.
The really lovely thing about your tonics and the way not only that they're packaged, but the way that they're flavored is that you can just drink them on their own. So I know a big part of, our society and the trends of beverages right now is, non-alcoholic beverages. And you can drink these on their own and they're so good. They have been my go-to gift for my dad because he loves them. He loves to drink them just on their own. They're flavored so nicely, and the can size is just perfect for a nice little cocktail beverage just by
So
themselves.
nice.
Plus, I have to say the cans are really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. One of our partners, Karen Locke, owns a creative firm called High Proof Creative. We hired her actually initially to do the can design and the branding. And she did such a great job, and working with her was so smooth and seamless and fast. We ended up offering her a partnership, and
Oh,
she came on board. So it's been fantastic.
One of the things I wanted you to talk about was who's involved in your business because it is all super rad women that own the business together. So I don't know if you want to talk about them, who they are, what they do.
Sure. So I did mention Karen Locke. She is we call her our CMO or managing partner. Her realm is the branding, and she's been fantastic about getting the word out about Dappled Tonic to not only local press, but some pretty good national press too, which is significant at this age of our business. This is my third CPG company, and I've never had traction that quickly. Part of it is I think the timing was right for this product, but the other thing is Karen's done a good job finding the right audience for a story. And the third partner is Erin McBride, who I actually met as a pantry cook at Higgins while I was the pastry chef. And so I've known her for 22 years, I think, or 20 years, something like this, a long time. During that time, we stayed in food, but kind of worked adjacently. She had a coffee roastery called Cellar Door. She was the owner and chef of a restaurant called Second Story, which is where L'Orange is now. Then she went on to be trained and start her own firm in bookkeeping for people like us. So her clients are mostly hospitality, CPG, and restaurant folk. And she really brings a different perspective than most financial folks because she's been there. So she has a mindset of an operator. She also can step in as a therapist as needed, which is excellent for people. It's just the stress of running your own business is a lot sometimes, and it's helpful to have an understanding person to work with.
We talked a little bit about your packaging, but I want to say, in general, I think your branding, your packaging, your Instagram, just the look of everything really comes from this, to me, it comes from this female gaze. I don't know if that's because the three of you together make those decisions or it just naturally comes out, but I just think everything looks so good. I'm sure it's just part of who you are. You've had all these businesses before, but just wanted to compliment you on it and say what a great job
Well,
you're
thank you.
doing. And if people want to find you on Instagram, they should check out all of
Also,
that stuff.
can you tell us where Dapple came from? Dappled?
The name.
Yeah.
So the name Dappled comes from really when you're out in the forest and you're looking through the woods and there's shafts of sunlight and shadow, and spots where like the moss is all lit up and then spots that are all, shady and misty. And it's kind of that contrast and movement that you experience in light that my intention with the flavor combinations in Dappled was that it would be that same movement and oscillation, but on your palate. So there's highs, there's lows, there's the tartness, there's the sweetness, and there's also a bitterness, which for me facilitates the drinkability of the tonic water, not only as a mixer, but as a soft drink. As Sarah was saying, we didn't necessarily create Dappled to stand alone, but because we really wanted to have a delicious product end to end, you have to have good ingredients, right? It's just like in cooking. Like if you want to have an amazing omelet, then you start with farm fresh eggs and you have some, farmer's market chard or whatever, and then you have your Marshall's hot sauce. And then every single bit of it is going to be exceptional. So just taking that kind of mindset to elevating the entire experience, treating all of the components as important, even if it's the size of the ice cube or, the freshness of the herb that you're tucking in there, and absolutely the bubbles and the flavors in the tonic water.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to hear about your wins from your business. We'll be right back.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together. Well, looking at the map on your website, it looks like you had a lot of wins getting into retail and bar and restaurants. Can you tell us about that?
So interestingly, things have changed a little bit for me with CPG. Fair did not exist when I had my last CPG company. In fact, e-commerce had kind of just started. And what we've discovered is that people around the country are looking for a product like ours. And that's been facilitated with these wholesale platforms like Fair and Air Goods. So we have, for example, I'm preparing to ship 20 cases to a little enoteca in Illinois tomorrow that chooses a craft gin and a craft tonic and makes the gin and tonic of the month. And it's just very specific. And they sell so many gin and tonics. It's absolutely like a passion of theirs. And they were looking for a craft tonic exactly like ours to pair with their certain gins. And they've become regular customers. We also have, gratefully, I'm so grateful for this, but because our tonic is balanced and drinkable as a soft drink, there are alcohol-free shops all over the country that are bringing our stuff in. Again, it is kind of an emerging category, as we were kind of saying before, a trend that's in process of forming. And there is a lot of frustration, I think, on the consumer end about non-alc because it's a big commitment financially to purchase a non-alcohol spirit that you're not even sure if you're going to like. And one thing that I love to say about Dappled is that we make non-alcohol spirits make sense. So we can give a non-alcohol spirit the kind of motility or the, that mobility in the mouth that isn't present when alcohol isn't present. So we can help them, fulfill their goal of, giving people a nice, creative, non-alcoholic beverage. And then the other thing is that if somebody's going to use our stuff, on its own, just out of the can, it's pretty affordable. It's at New Seasons, if you get a 4-pack for $12, compared to most of the other cans that are a similar size that are a non-alcohol, like gin and tonic, for example, those are in the $6, $7, $8 range. So it's a nice way for people who are maybe trying to bridge into non-alc to explore and see how it works for them. That's been one of my favorite places to be, is just making it easier for people to make better choices, whether it's in having a cocktail that's just more satisfying because it just matches perfectly with their gin and they just feel like, oh, this is wonderful. I'm so satisfied. Or they feel like they can step away from alcohol, even if it's just for like one night and not feel like they're missing anything.
And you also recently won a pitch competition. Do you want to tell people about that?
Oh, that's fun that you brought that up. Pitching is something that is not natural to me. I love
I don't think it's
speaking.
natural to anybody, really.
I mean, there's like
It's so
one guy
hard.
It's
probably, but
hard.
yeah, I love customer facing events. I can talk about my product all day. I can do one-on-ones. I love that. But standing in front of a group, speaking about my business to a group I know nothing about and I'm not really getting any input from was really hard for me. So I did it a few times. I worked on my pitch deck as, business owners do, did my pitch deck, but I really felt like I was just hitting my bullet points, but I call it turtling when you're like, I don't feel like myself. I'm like suppressed. And my goal was to get from there to the point where I was just like shooting sparkles out of my chest, like at the customers or at the guests and the people I'm talking to the point where like they can also get excited about what I'm doing. I'm excited about it. I'm passionate about it. How do I get to the point where I can also get you excited? Like it takes time to do that. I took improv classes to help me like not be so terrified in front of people. It turned out improv was actually too nice. Everyone is very supportive. It's a, yes, and what I needed was, eh, you know, or the worst one is, yeah, but. So I started doing stand up. And I think stand up really put me in a better place to keep my own wits about me when I'm in front of a less than friendly crowd. So stand up, you're literally standing up there being judged by people with material you wrote yourself. And I was like, that is closer to pitching. So that was kind of my process. I also took a mentor during this time named Brain Master. She's done lots of like storytelling work. She's, TED Talks, Livewire, that type of thing, Moth podcast. And she helped me put my story together in a way that felt natural to me, that also made it so that I could be confident in my story so I could let my sparkles come out. I wasn't worried about bullet points. I was able to convey the passion. So it was a whole process of practicing and it paid off. I was able to win the Demolicious pitch competition and I went on to the finals as the only CPG company on the stage out of, I
Wow.
think, 12. So at the end, I felt like I really was successful, that I had like gone down this path and worked on this journey and really grown a lot myself. And I came in fifth, which was great.
Very cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it was exciting.
You said something really important. It's important for people to have mentors. Even mentors need mentors, and I'm looking for a mentor right now.
Yeah. She was like a coach, but she was so in her, her native setting that she could just, say two words and get me further down the path that I needed. She was very experienced and very effective. Highly recommend her for really just anybody that's learning to like distill their story and tell their story and have it ready to speak in any setting.
Sarah Masoni, what are you looking for in a mentor?
I think I want a female mentor with business experience and maybe digital platform stuff. Know anybody?
I don't, but I'll think about it because I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just have to think about it. Yeah. I think having mentors is important. And I always love taking classes and learning from people and having coaches and teachers. I mean, I've always got somebody. I love having, right now I have a writing teacher who I really love. But I love having people in my corner for sure.
It's helpful.
It's helpful. It's just nice to have somebody that keeps you motivated when I think that on our own we get stuck, and just to even have somebody just be like, you got this, or somebody to just check in with keeps me motivated. Otherwise I'll be like, oh, I'll do that next week because I have this and this going on. But if I have someone there to check in with every week, then I'm like, oh, I got to do this because I'm checking in with her this week.
Right, accountability.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah.
Which I think, Faith, are we in a new CEO group together? Are you in that or no?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I should be.
Well, I just joined one through Livelihood Northwest that they just organized with anybody who's done any of their programs. They are organizing a new CEO group with anybody who's done their program so that we'll check in with each other every month. So I'm excited about that, just to
That's cool, Sarah Marshall.
keep each other
That is very cool.
connected and accountable. So if anybody's done any of the Livelihood, Ascend, or any of those programs, you can be part of it, I believe.
Yeah, we need more female CEOs. There's a shortage even in women-founded business.
Yes.
That at whatever level the CEO role gets handed off to someone else, and it's often a man because women haven't been brought up into that area of expertise. So that's fantastic to hear.
Faith, we always like to ask this question, which is, what do you need from your community right now? What can everyone do to help you and your business?
Follow us on Instagram and interact. Another thing that we love is please ask for Dappled Tonic at your favorite restaurant or bar.
That's a good one.
On-premise growth is one of the big goals that we have for 2026. And we physically can't get to everybody's places. So that would be so helpful to get the word out to our bartender friends and restaurant folks.
Perfect.
I would definitely order it in a restaurant.
Me too. I have.
I have too, and I've taken pictures of it when I've been out and sent them to you.
Yes, it's much appreciated.
Whenever
Yes, also,
I see that people are using it or making drinks with it, I'm like, hey.
it's exciting. Yeah, and I'll just put in a third request for when you do ask for it and they've got it, take a picture and put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And tag us.
I think it's exciting. It's kind of like when I see my friends' stuff in stores or on menus or, just out in the world, I kind of feel like it's like running into a buddy, or it's like, maybe I don't see you out in the world because I don't usually unless we're at an event together, but, and then we're working, but if I'm like out, it's kind of like running into you at a restaurant or running into you at a bar. I'll see your stuff and I'll be like, oh, there she is.
I feel the same way. Yeah.
Good way of putting it.
Yeah. And then I'll just take a picture, post it.
Yep. So good.
It's like doing a selfie with you.
Yeah.
Let's describe your flavors because we didn't do that, and pick the flavor that tells your story best.
So we do have 3 SKUs. We launched with these 3. Citrus with yuzu, lemongrass, lemon, and lime. Floral with rose, chamomile, and lavender. And aromatic, which has cardamom, vanilla, and lemongrass. And the idea with the 3 SKUs is that they are easy to navigate. So your mom could make a cocktail with it successfully. Hopefully, when someone says citrus, then something pops into their mind. Cranberry juice or vodka. If someone says aromatic, maybe they're thinking, oh, I think aromatic bitters, that goes with my whiskey or my cognac or, my Bombay Sapphire. So that was the intention with the flavors, is that they are easy to navigate and be successful on a very pedestrian level. The one that probably tells my story the best is aromatic because it is pushing past the boundaries of what tonic water can be and has been. It really blows the doors off of tonic water goes with gin or vodka, because this is a tonic water that is, yes, good with gin and vodka, but also you can absolutely use it with your bourbon or your tequila or your, Jamaican pot stilled rum. You can take it a lot of different directions. We have done a lot of work with Amaro buddies. So Senzafina in Seattle or Fast Penny. We love doubling down on botanicals. We also find that what's special about cardamom and vanilla, and I think Sarah probably will support me here, is that they're so useful and they go with so many things. So you can just pair cardamom and vanilla with just about anything. It's going to lock in and it's going to be a more substantial and saturated beverage when everything is all said and done.
Well, Faith, it's been so good to have you on the show again and talk about your new business. I'm excited to see, where it goes and what happens for you. It's such a beautiful brand and such a beautiful product, and I'm just so excited about it. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Let's tell people one more time where to find you and follow you.
So you can find our product at Market of Choice and New Seasons. Of course, you can order online at dappledtonic.com. And please follow us on Instagram at Dappled Tonic.
Perfect. We want to thank our listeners for tuning into the show. You can rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. You can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Meaningful Marketplace Podcast. You can call or text Sarah and I with questions, or if you want to be a guest on the show, you can call us there, 503-395-8858. We couldn't do this without our fantastic team at Joy of Creation Production House. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for joining, everybody. Bye.
Bye for now.
If you love the stories we bring you each week, please consider supporting us on Patreon. As an independent media company, your support is absolutely essential. It allows us to continue creating high-quality professional episodes that amplify the voices of women, small business owners, writers, artists, and creatives, and keep their stories free from commercial pressure. By becoming a Patreon member, you're not just supporting us, you're investing in the future of independent media. Please visit patreon.com/The Joy of Creation Production House to join our community today. Thank you for listening and supporting our podcast dreams.